Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. I am the light of the world, says the Lord. Whoever follows me will have the light of life. Alleluia. 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 The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Mark. As Jesus was leaving Jericho with his disciples and a sizable crowd, Bartimaeus, a blind man, the son of Timaeus, sat by the roadside begging. On hearing that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, "Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me." And many rebuked him, telling him to be silent. But he kept calling out all the more, "Son of David, have pity on me." Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." So they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take courage, get up. Jesus is calling you." He threw aside his cloak, sprang up, and came to Jesus. Jesus said to him in reply, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man replied to him, "Master, I want to see." Jesus told him, "Go your way, your faith has saved you." Immediately he received his sight and followed him on the way. The Gospel of the Lord. If we're going to read the scriptures and we're going to get the context, I've said before that we need to read the scriptures through our Jewish understanding. We need to see them through Jewish eyes and hear them with Jewish ears. Otherwise, we miss the point. So if we're going to get the point of Bartimaeus, we have to understand who and what Bartimaeus represents in the Old Testament. And remember, he's a blind man. And so for the Jew, within the context of that period of time, Bartimaeus would have represented everything that was sinful, impure, unclean, and everything that is not holy. That's what Bartimaeus symbolizes. Because if you were blind, if you were crippled, if whatever it is that you had that was wrong with you, that was a sign of your sinfulness. And it was a punishment from God. And so therefore people had to stay away from you, because if they touched you, if they came close to you, they became impure and unclean themselves. Jesus, however, comes on the scene and turns the holiness code upside down and begins to teach us that what it means to be impure and unclean is to lack mercy. To lack mercy. So that the hallmark of our faith is mercy, forgiveness. But what's interesting about Bartimaeus in that period of time is that as he represents everything that I just said, you heard in the first reading from Sirach that the whole world is filled with the glory of God. And Bartimaeus, the blind man, is the only one who can see that. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And so when he calls out to Jesus, Jesus, Son of David, a messianic title, he recognizes the lordship of Jesus Christ. He recognizes that the whole world, which is filled with God's glory, is a result of him. And he cries out to him and says, have pity on me. And those many who are following Jesus tell him to be silent. You keep quiet. You have nothing to say. You are just a sinner. You are a throwaway. You represent everything that is unclean, impure, and unholy. You've got keep still. And what does he do? Calls out the louder. And Jesus calls him to himself. And he does something very, very interesting and specific in particular. He throws aside his cloak. And what that cloak represents is his security in the world. That's all he has. He walks away from he throws it aside, walks away from everything because Christ is calling him. Who would do that? Would you? Would I? My brothers and sisters, I don't think I'd have to work too hard at convincing any one of you right now that we're living in a very confusing time. And that things are changing on a daily basis. And that things of faith, people are becoming less tolerant and more hostile toward things of faith and people of faith. I think we're living in a time that very shortly many people are going to have some very tough decisions to make for Christ or away from Christ. You can say I'm crazy, but I think that a lot of us are beginning to realize that the things that we thought provided our security don't. And that we have to begin to see through the eyes of Bartimaeus, the eyes of our hearts. Christ is calling us. Come. Come. Was Bartimaeus blind? Or were those who were telling him to be silent blind?